Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming. I'm David Kapp, United States Attorney for the Northern District of Indiana. Today is a sad day for the citizens of Northwest Indiana, and it is a particularly sad day for all of us in law enforcement. We are announcing 2 public corruption indictments this morning. Lake County Sheriff John Buncich, his chief deputy at the Sheriff's Department, Timothy Downs, and a third person, William Zarmak, who owns and operates a towing company called CSA Towing in Lake Station, have been charged with a scheme to deprive the citizens of Lake County of their rights to the honest services of the Sheriff's Department in connection with towing contracts in Lake County, Indiana. This scheme began around February of 2014 and continued into last month, October of 2016. It was designed to enrich Sheriff Buncich personally and his identified in the indictment as Individual A. Sheriff Buncich and William Zarmak are also charged with violations of the federal bribery statute. The indictment alleges that Buncich received some $27,000 in cash and $7,000 in checks intending to be influenced in connection with the towing contracts. Zarmak allegedly paid some $8,500 in cash and a $1,000 check, again in connection with these towing contracts. Let me make an important statement about Individual A. As we proceed in court, his identity will become known. He is a local businessman who owns and operates a towing company, and this individual voluntarily came forward and offered to work with us, and it's because of his efforts that we have been able to get into the inner workings of this illegal scheme. The second indictment we're announcing this morning is from next door in Porter County. Portage Mayor James Schneider and John Cortina, who owns and operates a towing business called Custom Auto Body in Portage, were charged with violating the federal bribery statute for Schneider's receipt of the payment from Cortina and from Individual A, the same person, of checks totaling some $12,000 in exchange for towing in Portage. The time frame for these allegations are January through October 2016. Mayor Schneider is also charged in a second count alleging that from 2012 through 2014, he corruptly solicited and received a bank check in the amount of $13,000 in connection with a Portage Board of Work contracts and a Portage redevelopment project. The final charge against James Schneider alleges obstruction of the Internal Revenue laws. You will see from the indictment that this count alleges a detailed pattern of conduct from January 2010 through April 2013 to obstruct and impede the IRS's collection of personal income taxes owed by him, as well as payroll taxes owed by his mortgage business, First Financial Trust. Essentially, the indictment alleges diversion of funds from that mortgage company to a sole proprietorship, and his submission of forms to the IRS which failed to disclose, among other things, that sole proprietorship. Several of these defendants are in process in court as we speak. We will be seeking detention on the defendant, William Sarmack. The other defendants, I believe, will be released on their own recognizance. These indictments are the result of a multi-year investigation by the agencies represented with me today. To my left is Jay Abbott, the special agent in charge of the FBI for Indianapolis. To my right, Ed Ng, who is the assistant special agent in charge for the Internal Revenue Service. And to my far left is our United States Marshal, Todd Nukes. In addition, anytime we've needed it, we have gotten outstanding and immediate help from the Indiana State Police, and I want to thank the Indiana State Police as well. Superintendent Carter could not make it this morning. I cannot thank these agencies enough for their commitment and professionalism throughout this multi-year investigation. Indictments like this require a ton of work, not just from these agencies, but in the U.S. Attorney's Office as well. All facets of our office, our attorneys, our support staff, everybody pitches in and does the job. But I want to single out my 3 assistant United States attorneys that have done the work and real heavy lifting on these indictments, and that is Assistant United States Attorney Phil Benson, Assistant United States Attorney Gary Bell. Phil and Gary are both in court at this time, and Assistant United States Attorney Joe Koster. The 3 of them I cannot thank enough because they have worked tirelessly, usually on weekends and late into the evening, to bring about what we're announcing today. These investigations are not over. We anticipate more charges in the near future. My office and these agencies are committed, and we will devote as many of our resources as necessary to continue our public corruption efforts, specifically looking at these towing contracts in both Lake and Porter County. The citizens of the region are tired of this, and any citizen out there who has information regarding public corruption, we would like to hear from you. The chart gives the phone number of the Maryville office of the FBI, and you can call me personally. I've given my personal phone number out before. It is 219-937-5601. That rings to my desk. I'm the only one that answers that number, and if any citizen calls me or the FBI, we will protect your identity, but we are interested in your information. My final message is to those others out today regarding towing contracts. You know who you are, and we know currently who some of you are, and we are coming after you. And if any of you want to try to help yourself, time is running short. Thank you. Jay?
Thanks, Dave. This truly is a sad day for law enforcement, and certainly a sad day for this community. Execute. Unfortunately, when evidence determines that the public's trust has been betrayed by an official placed in a position of trust, the FBI professionally investigates these types of matters in a capable manner that serves the public good and protects the American people. But we don't take any pleasure in these type of investigations. When the public's trust in its officials has been betrayed, it erodes that trust in the institutions that we all depend upon to have integrity, to be fair, and to serve the public in an honest way. So when these type of cases occur, it's a tragedy. It's a tragedy for law enforcement, and it's a tragedy for the community. And they're very difficult. But they must be done, and they will be. And the FBI can be counted upon to pursue justice, whoever that might be. I want to specifically thank Dave Kapp of the United States Attorney's Office and the Assistant United States Attorneys who have assisted and helped so significantly with this case and will continue to do so. Their participation and collaboration with us has been nothing short of astounding for such a difficult case. I also specifically want to thank Indiana State Police Superintendent Doug Carter for his steadfast support when we've needed him at each juncture of this case, particularly as it came to a close. Dave, thank you very much, and thank you so much for the incredible cooperation and the work that you've done.
Sure, it's just 2 letters, NG. Well, good morning, everyone. Once again, IRS Criminal Investigation is proud to stand here with our law enforcement partners and the United States Attorney's Office to announce the indictment of 5 individuals. Working together as an investigative team ensures that we hold our public officials and others accountable for their actions. Whether elected or appointed, public officials all hold positions of trust. And that trust is broken when they commit crimes of greed. The people of Indiana here, whom they swore to serve, are really the true victims here. Today, justice is being served, but our job is not done. Our collective efforts are still needed to continue to follow the money and enforce the laws to ensure that we hold public officials accountable for their actions. These indictments send a loud message to these individuals and to others in our communities that to show that our community deserves better. So, thank you very much.
Thank you. Take a few questions. Jim?
28 days ago, you went into the Lake County Courthouse because you got
Well, as you can see from the dates alleged in the indictment, this has been a lengthy, multi-year investigation. And what we've done is follow the evidence and piece the evidence together. Yes, sir.
I hear that John Bunches and Steve Jones were arrested this morning.
That's correct, and they were processed in court this morning, or as we speak. That's happening. No comment on anything from this morning.
Will he be allowed to keep his firearm and so forth?
That's a determination for the court and the probation department. I don't know yet.
special
Yeah.
conditions. Your office does a lot of work with the Lake County, Indiana Sheriff's Office. How does this indictment impede your ongoing work with that office?
Well, certainly it's going to have an impact, and it's going to be something that we're going to have to carefully parse in all of our investigations. You will have to inquire of the Sheriff's Department.
Captain,
Yes.
individual A come forward because he was being taken.
Very ripe for, I guess, corruption and these types of things.
It's, first of all, there's a lot of towing that goes on. We are certainly the crossroads of the country in many respects with all the traffic on our interstates. There's a lot of activity out there that requires towing. So it's there's a lot of towing business in Lake and Porter counties. Sir. No, we're, meeting with probation and, there'll be the standard conditions of release that are done with all defendants. With respect to Mr. Zarmak, we will be seeking detention. I suspect the detention hearing on him will be sometime early next week.
Mr. Cap, has Mayor Snyder turned himself in already that you know of?
Arrangements are being made as we speak, and I believe there'll be a initial appearance early this afternoon for Mayor Schneider. Yes, ma'am.
You said it's a travesty for law enforcement. For the people who've been arrested by these individuals, what do you say to them? It's a travesty to it's beyond law enforcement.
Well, as I said, this is my opening comment was this is a sad day for the citizens of Northwest Indiana, and it is. Anything?
Of course, in terms of the sheriff's position, it's up to essentially the sheriff. What would you hope happens?
Again, I'm not going to interject myself into that. That's a matter for the state authorities to determine.
For people who've had their cars towed, what is your recourse right now?
Well, I don't know all the ins and outs of what happens procedurally in the sheriff's office. I believe they will just have to follow the standard procedures within the sheriff's office regarding retrieving their automobiles.
Is there an idea of how many?
The towing contracts, not individual tows.
Mr. Cap, you said this has been a multi-year investigation, and so has this been going on since John Bussich took the sheriff's office?
Well, let me just refer to the four corners of the indictment, which you'll all have copies of shortly if you don't already. The indictment alleges from in or about February 2014, continuing to in or about October 2016. So I'll leave it at that. Sir.
When did you begin your investigation of Mayor Snyder? Can you tell me a little more about the interaction between the Board of Legislature?
I can't comment any further on that interaction. I stick to the four corners of the indictment, and all I can say with respect to Mayor Schneider is that has likewise been a multi-year investigation.
This is the tip of an iceberg as far as more indictments coming down on elected officials in Northwest Indiana.
Well, as I said in my concluding remarks, we are currently aware of some other individuals that have been engaged in similar conduct, and our investigation is not over.
Just for clarity's sake, you talked about the case involving the sheriff, the case involving the mayor. Are they connected by anything, or we're just talking about similar mechanisms?
Similar mechanisms, yes, sir.
Speaking of the two cases, you said that Mayor Snyder can surrender himself later this year. Can you speak to the specifics
We,
surrender himself or as to in general terms what?
yeah, that's, the arrests were made this morning of the Bunsich and Downs, Zarmak and Cortina. I made the decision with respect to Schneider because we've been dealing behind the scenes with Schneider as in his attorney, thus the decision for surrendering today.
High-profile political cases, typical that they surrender later.
Mixed bag over our history. Everything is assessed on a case-by-case basis. There's often reasons we have for doing one or the other that is not necessarily apparent, nor is it something I'm going to discuss. We take a careful look at those decisions all the time, and we have reasons for doing what we've done. Anything else? Thank you all.